Assalamu alaikum. I am Usman Hanif. I am lecturer in English at Government College, Hyderabad. Today we are supposed to discuss why is it so that Pakistan's public sector is not as efficient, as competitive, as productive as its private sector. Being a lecturer, I myself face these situations where the superordinates demand of us. We are the subordinates. We are demanded to improve our efficiency, our productivity. Our greater cooperation is required. Why is it so that despite working 6 days in a week, countries like Pakistan are still not as efficient, as productive, as competitive as those Western developed countries which work for 5 days? So quantitatively we are better than them, but qualitatively we are far behind. Why is it so? Let's begin it with the recruitment process, where the employees are recruited and hired. Well, the salaries that are offered to the public sector in Pakistan are usually fixed, and they are not increased until a specific time period lapses. In private sector, salaries are higher, which makes it more attractive and lucrative for the employees. The attraction that lies in public sector is the pension that one gets after retirement. So, for a post-dated checks that are offered to the public sector employees in the form of their pension benefits, they are recruited at smaller salaries as compared to what private employees get. So first of all, if we need to improve the the efficiency and productivity of the public sector, we need to increase the salaries. We need to make the salaries competitive. In this way, we are going to make, in other words, we are going to make our employees more competitive. In public administration, there is a term used that is called PSM, public sector motivation. Greater salary, increased salaries bring more motivation in the employees in the public sector. So it's a very tangible thing. We need to look at our salaries. Then we come to the training process. Private sector focuses on the productivity, on the production of goods and services. And in order to increase their productivity, they offer training, specialized training, common training. Government sector most of the time lacks behind in this regard. The government needs to train its employees before their allocations. The point is that if you are not trained, if you don't have much idea about what you're supposed to do, if you don't know about your jobs and duties, you are not going to be motivated. You are not going to work properly, efficiently. If you have a fair and clear idea about what is required of you, you will be having clear understanding and greater motivation to do your work. Then comes promotion prospects. In the public sector, no matter how hardworking, how cooperative, how competitive you are, you might have the same slow prospects of promotion as compared to a person who is very lethargic in public sector. So a lethargic and hardworking employee, both of them get promoted at the same time, most of the time in public sector. Whereas in private sector, your productivity, decides your promotion. If you are really efficient, helpful, useful for the organization, they promote you, and promotion can be very rapid in the private sector. In public sector, it is most of the time very slow. Next point is, there is a particular approach applied to the public sector administration. For example, in public sector, traditional public administration is used, where there is a hierarchy, rule-based approach is used. If you have to get a small thing done, you have to go from the lowest ebb to the highest of the offices just to get the signatures from the relevant offices. So the process is very slow, and most of the time the decisions are taken at the top, and the implementers or the real workers which fall in the lowest of the category, they have most of the time no say in what decisions are taken, although they are supposed to put into practice those decisions, but they most of the time don't have any say about the decisions. This is actually the situation which is going on in public sector. In private sector, new public management is used. If you don't know what this approach means, I will tell you. In new public management, the employees at the lowest level, they also have their stakes. they are also made part of the decision making process, so they feel themselves involved. So this increases their motivation. If there is any problem, they can fix it. Whereas in public sector, we continue to derogate the imperfections of the system, and we can't do anything because those at the top, they sit in their offices and they don't have as much idea as we on the bottom have. Uh, Next point is uh, encouragement in the public and private sector. If you are really productive in the public sector, most of the time you'll not be encouraged. But if you are a good sycophant of your boss, you can be very productive. In private sector, your work gets paid. You get encouragement from your boss. You can get promotion. You'll be encouraged. You'll be motivated. So these are some of the points that make a difference between a greater efficient, more cooperative and competitive organization, and that of less cooperation, less competition, and less production. I hope you understand the difference between the public sector's bad performance and private sector's good performance. Take care. Allah Hafiz.